you so much. Okay, sorry for the interruption. Okay, so let's begin the session. So so we are like in some testing times, I was just mentioning. So in the wake of this COVID-19, the life seems has stopped with fears, uncertainty, all over all these 3 months, and we are just not sure when it's going to end. Nobody is sure about that. So in these moments, everything so bleak, forcing people to review their perspective of life and their inner dialogue of what makes or breaks them. This is the best time to look at ourselves, to look at our perspectives, and which will make or break us. So just we have got an excellent time to look at it. And the worst part is like we have been brutally forced to realize that the pursuit of the collective good is far more beneficial than the fulfillment of individual greed. That's so true. That like before this COVID-19, like everyone was just so much like focused on themselves. So now with this sitting at home, okay, trying to analyze ourselves, trying to look at our perspectives. So now we started realizing that it's always a collective good which is more beneficial than the individual greed. So with this, okay, let's try to understand what exactly homeopathy is. So in short, just I will give a brief on what homeopathy is. So in Malaysia, we consider homeopathy under traditional and complementary medicine. So it is one of the medical sciences which came from Germany. So the homeopathy name came from the Greek word homeos, which means like, pathos means suffering. So it simply means like cures like. So this science of medicine was introduced by Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, a German physician, in the year 1796. And he proposed the concept of similia similibus curanda. So in plain English, which means like cures like. That's the law of similars. So this law of similars was not something like a very new. So it was already advocated by many greats, such as like people like Paracelsus, and even like it was mentioned in Ayurvedic literatures where it says like where the poison cures poison. Okay. So this idea was taken up by Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, and he proposed in the year 1796. And the whole concept of homeopathy is based on the law of similars, which is like cures like. So in short, what exactly is if I want to explain it? So in homeopathy, it's all about individualized treatment. So we don't have very specific medicines for specific diseases. So when a patient comes with some signs and symptoms of a disease, so we try to match those symptoms, signs of that disease with the signs and symptoms of our medicines. So suppose if I give an example, like, okay, that we have been, okay, cutting onions, especially like with this lockdown. So now I hope like everyone is doing all that. So when we try to cut onions, so what happens? So our eyes starts, okay, burning. So there will be inflammation, eyes become red. There will be watering of eyes along with redness, inflammation of nose, then watering of nose, the face becomes hot. So now this picture is very much similar to common flu. So now when patient comes with such symptoms, so we know that there is something, okay, a medicine prepared from onions, which is called as Allium cepa, so can produce similar picture. So we will prescribe a medicine which can produce symptoms like this flu. And so this is what exactly law of similia means in homeopathy. So now let's look at few people, like I can say like some greats who have advocated, who have used homeopathy for many, many years and who have been great followers of homeopathy. Just try to look at just few names. So George Bernard Shaw. So these are just few literally greats. I would just show you the names and pictures of these people. So author Conan Doyle, and so the author of a very famous Sherlock Holmes series. Then we have got Rabindranath Tagore. Then we have got some sports personalities scoring with homeopathy. People like Beckham. So when he broke his leg just before the World Cup 2003, so he used homeopathy. Usain Bolt being a regular user of homeopathy. So Dr. Jean Marcel Ferret, so who was the head coach of a French team from early 90s up to 2003-2004, and head coach of a World Cup winning team of France in 1998. So homeopathy was one of the regimes uh, uh, in his team. Then we have Martina Navratilova. Then we have Boris Becker, Jose Maria Olazabal. So because of arthritis problem, so he was actually almost a bedridden. So from a virtual cripple, he again became a world champion using homeopathy. Nancy Lopez, who used homeopathy for her knee problems. Then we have got many physicians, scientists who use homeopathy and came out of the medicine closet. So the first person is none other than the founder of homeopathy, Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, who was a medical doctor and who introduced homeopathy. And if we look at the history, like in America's capital city, Washington, the only monument honoring a physician is one to the founder of homeopathic medicine. And this was dedicated in 1900 by President William McKinley. Then we have got the father of modern medicine, Sir William Osler. So he had quoted that no individual has done more good to the medical profession than Samuel Hahnemann himself. Then Charles Darwin. Then, okay, a few great personalities from television: Pamela Anderson, Cindy Crawford, Spice Girl Victoria Beckham. Then we have got again many great names from Bollywood. Ashok Kumar. So like many, okay, I think like the old people, they must be knowing this, but the recent generation, they hardly know this, that, okay, Ashok Kumar, like one of the legendary actors from Bollywood. And he was so much into homeopathy that he had his own clinic and he used to practice homeopathy and he used to give free treatment to many patients. So he was a successful homeopathy practitioner besides being a legendary actor. Then we have got Abhishek, Aishwarya, Saif, Karishma Kapoor, Salman Khan, or Shah Rukh Khan. So all have been used some or the other time of their life with homeopathy. Then, okay, look at some musicians who have used homeopathy. So some notable names are Tina Turner for tuberculosis. She used homeopathy. Then we have got Paul McCartney. Then other few very notable names, okay, coming from politicians or peacemakers from the world. So Abraham Lincoln. So again, he was again a very lesser known fact about him is he himself used homeopathy and he used to prescribe homeopathy for his own family members. Bill Clinton, Tony Blair, ex Prime Minister of UK, Mahatma Gandhi, who was a great advocate and believer of homeopathy, Dr. Manmohan Singh, and then the other noticeable persons are like a royal family from UK. So none other than Queen Elizabeth II. And she is currently the patron of the Royal London Homeopathic Hospital, and her personal homeopath was Dr. Peter Fisher, so who was a homeopath, and recently, just few months back, sadly, he died in a road accident. Prince Charles. So these are, okay, just few names who have used and advocated homeopathy. So the list is quite big. So if you want to know the list, okay, you can go through like one very famous book. So why famous people choose homeopathy by Dana Ullman. So you can come to like many great names, and you can understand like how many people they have been using it. They have used homeopathy in their life. Okay, so now coming back to the topic. So that does homeopathy help during epidemic, pandemic times? So if we try to understand that the diseases, okay, which spread so rapidly during the times of epidemics and pandemics, so is there any role homeopathy has ever played since its introduction 200 plus years back? So if we look at historically, so homeopathic remedies have known to be highly successful in epidemics and pandemics in the past. So looking at the earliest days itself, homeopathy has been able to treat epidemic diseases with a substantial rate of success when we compare with other modes of treatment. And these successes that place the practice of homeopathy so firmly in the consciousness of people worldwide. So that's how like the homeopathy spread to the entire world. So as per WHO, the homeopathy is the second most widely used medicine after conventional medicine. So this is the reason. So in the year 1998, like as if one patient, the American homeopath, so Greg Bedin, so he described Hahnemann's discovery of how he started coming out treating epidemics using homeopathy. Because when we talk about homeopathy, so it is very much individualized approach. So as I said, that homeopathy, the one medicine can be used in n number of diseases, and one disease may receive any remedy from the list of 2,000, 3,000 medicines in homeopathy. So this is very much tailor-made treatment. But when it comes to epidemics, so something, so one medicine can be used in many cases. And this medicine, so when we study several cases during these epidemics, so we understand a disease picture and then matching that disease picture of during the epidemics. So we try to come out with a remedy called as genus epidemicus. And this can be used, a single remedy can be used to treat many patients during the epidemics. And this began as early as in the year 1799, just after its introduction of homeopathy in 1796. So Hahnemann, the founder of homeopathy, he came across the scarlet fever epidemic, and he treated those patients of scarlet fever during that epidemic successfully using a remedy called as belladonna in 1799. And from there, the journey of homeopathic success using during epidemics began. So ever since Hans Samuel Hahnemann, homeopathy has time and again been able to successfully treat epidemics, pandemics with a small number of remedies, like a very few number of remedies. So they have been able to achieve great success. When we talk about epidemics, so we can't miss Spanish influenza happened in the year 1918, perhaps the most recent use of homeopathy in a major epidemic. So during such epidemics, the degree of success of homeopathy in influenza and other epidemics for over 200 years, especially in 1918, the flu of pandemic, homeopaths reported around just only 1% mortality rate in their cases compared to other seasonal medicines where the mortality rate was almost around 30%. So this was quite achievable, this one a remarkable task achieved using homeopathy. Then yellow fever in USA. So homeopathy was very much popular in North America during its early years due to its amazing success obtained by the old guard during the epidemics. So epidemics of diphtheria, scarlet fever, cholera, malaria, and yellow fever. Especially because this yellow fever in USA, the mortality rate was almost around 55%. So with other system of medicine, and it was dropped down to less than 5% using homeopathic treatment. So that's what and why it is said that it is here with that old guy that homeopathy obtained its golden letters. So this is just a small table where the list of few noted epidemics and pandemics are listed with their location. So like in 1799 in Germany, the disease was scarlet fever. So using homeopathy, the mortality rate was less than 5%. Then in the year 1830 and 31, Russia, the epidemic was cholera. So using homeopathy, the mortality rate was 11% compared to 63% mortality rate using other systems of medicine. Then again in the year 1830 to 1832, Vienna, Prague, Hungary, and Moravia, again the disease was cholera. Using homeopathy, the mortality rate was 7% compared to 31% using other systems. Then in Vienna, epidemic of cholera again in the year 1836, mortality rate was 33% using homeopathy compared to 66% mortality rate using other systems. 1847, Ireland, typhus fever epidemic. The mortality rate was just 2% compared to 13% mortality rate with other systems. Then 1847 again in England, typhus fever. So the mortality rate was again less than 2% compared to 13% of other systems. 1848, Scotland, Edinburgh. The epidemic was cholera. Using homeopathy, the mortality rate was 24% compared to 68% mortality rate using other systems. Mid 1800, Austria, with the disease like pneumonia, the mortality rate was 5% compared to 20% mortality rate using other systems. 1853 to 1855, South America, okay, it was hit by yellow fever. The mortality rate was 5.4%. 1854, cholera, which hit London, England. The mortality rate was 16.4% compared to 59.2% using other systems. 1878, New Orleans, USA, yellow fever. The mortality rate was 5.6% compared to 17% mortality rate using other systems. And then 1918, Spanish influenza, USA. The mortality rate is just 1% compared to 30% reported by other systems. So if we look at these epidemics engine, especially in the year 1852, so Dr. Roth, a British physician, who compiled the statistics from different hospitals in England, Austria, Germany, and he determined overall mortality rate of just 4.4% of homeopathic treatment and 10.5% of allopathic or other systems of medicines. So in epidemics of mortality, this per 100 patients is just 1/2 or 1/8 in homeopathic hospitals, just a century ago, using homeopathic treatment in homeopathic hospitals. And if we look at the current figures, most recently between 2009 and 2010, so according to Finlay Institute in Cuba, 90% of the population received homeopathic preventive medicine for respiratory diseases and influenza, including a H1N1 with successful outcomes and a significant reduction in mortality. Other diseases in Cuba were successfully healed using homeopathy, such as hepatitis A, dengue, and leptospirosis. So quite a great success in Cuba they achieved using homeopathy. So now this was overall a picture of homeopathy using in different types of epidemics and pandemics in past over 200 years. So now looking at the current situation of pandemic of COVID-19, let's have a look at the role of homeopathy in the present pandemic of COVID-19. As we all know that this virus is revealing a new aspect each day, every day it's sort of like changing its nature, its type. And it's a known fact that if the enemy is unknown, fighting always is difficult. It's not that easy. The reason why we don't have specific medicine, still no vaccine for this, because of its changing nature. And that's the reason why corona is becoming so difficult to treat for the conventional mode of treatment. So during this pandemic now, so with COVID-19, so there are homeopaths all around the world. So they have been busy in gathering all the information, finding out the genus epidemicus. As I said, like genus epidemicus means a medicine studied during the epidemics. So we try to study several cases and get a common picture of the disease, and then we will try to find a remedy which will suit to that picture. So this medicine, chosen during that epidemic, covering the picture of the disease during that epidemic, is known as genus epidemicus. So like these all homeopaths around the world, so they have been working on several cases in different countries, different regions to come out with genus epidemicus. Now, already the people, as I said, like they have been using homeopathy several parts of the world. So just okay, I have listed here few so notable contributions okay from different people using homeopathy during this pandemic of COVID-19. So by administering HCQ along with homeopathy, the complications in COVID-19 patients have reduced tremendously. So this is none other than Dr. Parvez Grant, who is the chief cardiologist and chairman of cardiovascular service at Ruby Hospital, Pune. So he and his team has been using homeopathy along with conventional medicine, so hydrochloroquine. And his observation was so like using homeopathy along with HCQ has reduced the risk of complications tremendously. Then so this is okay. This I'm giving a first okay the picture of different parts of India. Okay, so now the first one was from Pune. Now second one is again a city called as Kolhapur, the state of Maharashtra in India. So where they administer the homeopathic and Ayurvedic medicines as immunity boosters to elderly people. Then Dr. Mukundan and his team distributed homeopathic preventive and immune booster medicine arsenic album to Salem district in Tamil Nadu, to the police department of Salem district. Then in Dehradun, Uttarakhand state government, so they sanctioned almost rupees 2.48 crores to buy homeopathic medicines and Ayurvedic medicines and to be used as immunity boosters during this COVID-19 pandemic. Kerala government distributed homeopathy medicines to 4.5 million people. Government of Goa also approved the usage of Ayush medicines and homeopathy. Homeopathy successfully prevented COVID-19. So this is the statement given by the Gujarat's Principal Health Secretary. So where the Gujarat Health Ministry has given homeopathy immunity booster medicines to 7.6 million people, and they observed that after giving this homeopathic medicine, the appearance of the symptoms and the people getting COVID-19 was reduced drastically. Amitabh Bachchan, a well-known legendary actor from Bollywood, so beneficiary of homeopathy, encouraged to see the efforts of Ayush Ministry to counter corona. Then one more very notable person, Mr. Rajiv Bajaj, so who is a managing director of Bajaj Auto, a very big famous company in India, auto company in India. So he says that homeopathy can be a ray of hope in increasing immunity to help people overcome the novel coronavirus pandemic. So he has been receiving treatment from one of the contemporary homeopaths, Dr. Rajan Shankaran from Mumbai, India. And after studying several cases in Iran, so Dr. Rajan Shankar, he came out with genus epidemicus. The name of the medicine was camphor. And Raju Bajaj, so he started promoting camphor medicine to many people in India. So much so that he set up a homeopathy center in Pune called as Prana. And he has distributed 67,000 vials of camphor, homeopathy medicine camphor 1M. Around 15,000 police personnel in Pune who are taking this medicine says that he has allowed police officials to take these homeopathy medicines, and surprisingly, no police personnel in his jurisdiction has been affected with coronavirus. Then the governments of Andhra Pradesh distributed homeopathic preventive for COVID-19. Even Telangana government distributed homeopathic prophylactic arsenical. And when we look at the other parts of the world, so few notable countries such as Cuba, the entire country has been given homeopathic prophylactic medicine to counter COVID-19. Italy, many homeopaths are treating COVID-19 cases with hardly 1 to 2% fatality. Dr. Roger Morrison in USA is treating COVID positive cases with very good results, encouraging results, I would say. Then many homeopaths from Iran, India, New York, and other parts of US, Italy, Canada, all are sending their cases to Jeremy Sher. So he's again a very well-known and very famous, prominent homeopath and researcher from South Africa. So he and his team are collecting and analyzing data to understand the remedies that are helping in today's COVID-19 pandemic. Besides that, again, there are many homeopaths in small teams. So they have been dealing with direct positive and suspected cases of COVID-19 in India and other parts of the world successfully. So now the question is like, why homeopathy in epidemics and pandemics? So after looking at the history, how homeopathy has successfully helped in cases of epidemics and pandemics in past over 200 years, and what the homeopaths around the world are doing today during COVID-19 pandemic using homeopathy. So looking at all these things, so we can conclude, okay, and there is a reason why we can use homeopathy successfully along with other, especially conventional medicine, successfully. Then the reasons are very much clear because it creates absolutely no side effects. There's absolutely no harm in combining homeopathy with especially conventional medicine and other systems of medicines. It's very safe, especially for pregnant women, babies, elderly people. It is extremely cost effective. So when we look at the rate, okay, of homeopathy medicines, it's very much cheaper compared to other systems. And that's why it's very much cost effective. So one of the important reasons why we can include homeopathy in our main regime. Then production, storage, distribution is very simple. It does not induce therapy resistance, and it has been effective in many epidemics in the past and is effective in today's epidemics too. So these are the most important reasons why we can think of homeopathy, and we can start using homeopathy in epidemics or pandemics, even today's pandemic of COVID-19. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you so much for that knowledgeable session that you gave us. I think we have a few questions, but let me start by asking my own question to you first.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not part of the medical line, so I don't pretty much understand a lot of it. But from what you said, I just have one question. So, like homeopathy, does it only help with like bacterial or virus sicknesses, or also covers things like bones? So, let's say I have a problem with bones. Can homeopathy help me?
Yes. Okay. Homeopathy can be actually used for various problems, okay, affecting almost all the systems of our body. So in bones, so let's say like when I explain, okay, a few literary grades, sports personalities, okay,
Yeah.
where okay, so they were suffering from arthritis problem or knee problems and all, and they were tremendously got help, okay, using homeopathy. Even like players like Beckham, so when he broke his leg and also he used homeopathy. So for bones and all, for joints, homeopathy, okay, can give a great relief.
Right, right. Thank you so much for answering that, Doctor. I have a next question from Dr. Natalie, which he says, so far, a lot past pandemic successful cases at India with remedies. May I know how about COVID-19 at Malaysia?
Okay, the COVID-19 in Malaysia, like sadly, so we haven't yet got any direct exposure. So we have been trying, okay, to get the access where we can see, observe cases so that we can determine our genus epidemicus in Malaysia. So we have been trying, we haven't yet given up. Okay, so far, so there is no direct access, okay, to see.
I see.
So because as I said, it depends. Like now in India, so they have come out with a remedy called as arsenic alb as a genus epidemicus, okay, to deal with COVID-19 patient. But unless and until we observe patients in Malaysia, so it is really difficult to say whether it will be arsenic alb or some other remedy, unless and until we study several cases. And we have still been okay trying to get an access so that we can study few cases and we can come out with genus epidemicus in Malaysia as well. We are trying for that. Let's hope for the best.
All right. Thank you, Prof. We have another question from Dr. Mohan. So it appears that homeopathy medication has greater use in boosting immunity as prophylactic rather than a treatment modality. Am I correct?
Okay, so homeopathic medicine. So when we talk about genus epidemicus, so in initial stages, so this medicine can be used as a treatment part. It can be a curative, and those who haven't yet got affected, so in those patients, it acts as a preventive. So actually, it acts both curative as well as preventive.
Mm. Thank you, Doctor. The next question is how to raise awareness among the public in terms of using homeopathy to treat patients.
So here the best policy, as I always been saying this, let your actions speak louder than words. So when you want to create awareness about any particular system of medicine, so I am a strong believer of okay, creating awareness using and actually giving the results, giving the evidence that yes, homeopathy can treat all these types of diseases. So the best way to create awareness is treating patients and giving them results. That's the reason why like we are able to get so many patients here, especially for skin disease and all. They come all the way from different parts of Malaysia. Why? Because we are able to give them a relief. We are able to give them that kind of okay, comfort using homeopathy. That's the best way of conveying the message and creating awareness. Treat the patients, give the results. Okay, people will automatically start following.
I see. Thank you so much, Prof. Next question is, do you think Nosode can help COVID sufferer in the future?
Yes. Okay, so because when we talk about again dealing with epidemics, so there are few ways. So one of the ways, the most commonest ways is using genus epidemicus. Okay, so as I've already explained, genus epidemicus means we will study several cases, come out with a common picture of the disease, and then try to find a remedy, homeopathic medicine, which will match the picture of your epidemic. So that is genus epidemic. The one way. Second way is we go with individualized treatment. That's the basic of homeopathy. So there is no only single medicine. So based on patient to patient, so the medicine keeps changing. So this is called as individualized treatment. And the third way of dealing such epidemics is preparing a nosode. Okay, so in the positive patients, so we get okay, so that disease part, and we prepare a medicine using that virus or bacteria. So you say so that's a nosode medicine prepared from the disease part, and that can be very effectively used in such epidemics. That's one of the ways. So yes, if we get a chance to prepare a nosode, again that can be a very effective way of treating and controlling or preventing such epidemic using nosodes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for answering all our questions. I see there is no more questions, so I guess it's already 3 o'clock, so we shall end the session now. So thank you again, Professor Dr. Ibrahim, for joining us today, and thank you all participants for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you so much, Vinesh. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you.